I've never downloaded an app like this in my entire life.
You've never been on a dating app?
No. Hi, Cindy. You are the head of brand for Yuzu. It is a new social and dating app for the Asian community.
So I run the marketing for it. I set the brand tone. I was searching on LinkedIn. One of the jobs was Match Group's new dating app for the Asian community. After 7-8 rounds, I actually
What?
Yeah.
I had such a delayed response to that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. The best day of my life.
There are a lot of dating apps available though. What's the edge of this app?
Yuzu's differentiator is that there is both modes of social matching as well as dating matching. We have a communities feature where you can chat, the rave chat space, anime. We have a foodies chat space where it's literally just threads of Asian food. It's creating more specific experiences so that people might find more belonging.
I've never been on a dating app myself, so Cindy's gonna help me.
I won't say I'm a dating coach, but I'm the closest that you probably have been to.
Your roots.
That's what
this
it
is the thing you were
is.
talking about.
Oh, this is the hard part.
No. I literally don't have any photos of myself. Wait, no, I want to wear my jacket so I look cooler. Oh my god. I don't.
Wow.
I can't. I think that's a bridge that I'll have to cross later. Hello, Cindy.
Hello.
Welcome to Happy Hour. You're the first person who's waved at the camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm just...
I mean, you've been on, I will say, a bit of a national tour for this app that you're a part of. Do you want to explain to everyone what's been going on in your life?
I recently launched a new social and dating app for the Asian community called Yuzu. It's not my company. A lot of people ask me oh, are you the CEO? Are you the owner? No, I'm the head of brand. So I run the marketing for it. I set the brand tone, who we partner with, all the things that go into branding a product I do. It's part of a larger company that has all the resources to develop the product. So
It's under the Match Group, right?
it's under Match Group, which has a portfolio of dating apps called including Hinge, Tinder, and everything. And so I always want to make that clear because everyone just thinks I'm a mogul and I'm not. I'm just doing the marketing.
Your important cog of the machine.
I hope so. But recently we launched early January and it has been quite a ride. The first few months of launch, just making sure that people know about it, from the West Coast to East Coast to the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were in New York. You're based in New York, right?
Yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah. So this is my first guest who's from New York and who happens to, because most of my guests are local based, and I find a variety of amazing talent already in Los Angeles.
LA is so awesome.
I had one that came from Denver just because he happened to be in LA. And so you also happen to be in LA, but we got an East Coaster on Happy Hour, which
Let's go New Yorkers.
I'm so excited. I would love to do an episode there. I would just love to take this. I would love to travel with this as well, but in the future, hopefully. Yeah. But you hosted a Yuzu event in New York recently, correct?
So we had a launch event February 22nd or something like that in New York at Attaboy. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a Korean-owned restaurant. Definitely has one of the best fried chicken, I think. And we had an intimate dinner with press and tastemakers, influencers, and celebrities. Actually, Sam Song Lee from Brother Sun was there, and Jun Lee was there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Just a bunch of industry tastemakers who I really wanted to, celebrate the launch of this Asian social and dating app. We had an event in LA actually on March 8th to celebrate.
So you were also here in March?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, at the beginning of March, I guess.
Yeah, I was here 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
To celebrate International Women's Day. So we did it on March 8th at Love Hour in Koreatown. There we had a intimate dinner with 40 female creators to bring them together in one space and celebrate them being power female Asians.
That sounds so fun. A little girls event.
Yeah, honestly, after that, so many creators were oh my God, 4 years overdue of IRL meetup, because all the creators know each other.
And tonight is the LA launch event, which I'm very excited to be attending myself. So I'll get to meet other people there, which I'm actually really excited because every time when I go to these events, I'm just like, who can I have on the show?
There's going to be amazing group of people. So definitely get everyone's contact.
Yeah, I'm literally just going to talk to everyone. Let's get started with who I'm seated next to. So let's introduce our guest, Cindy. So hi, Cindy.
Hello.
You are the head of brand for Yuzu. It is a new social and dating app for the Asian community. And you're also the current advisor of Sundae School. It is a popular lifestyle, apparel, marijuana brand spotlighting Asian culture that I just learned prior to rolling that you started it with your brother. And I was like, oh, he's your brother. That makes so much sense now. I'd love to dig into your past because prior to building these companies that are just so young focused and towards like a niche audience of like Asian people, for example, you were in the world of like management consulting, private equity firms. So what was your daily life back then? And then what was kind of like the impetus that made you want to go into building these brands?
This is a great question. Okay, so this also ties back to why my brother and I co-founded Sundae School. Love my mother. Now she's super chill, amazing. But she was a true tiger mom, you know, like after school, she would make sure that we eat the best stuff and like become happy and then make sure we study like as much as we can. She was just overall a very tiger mom-y person. So my brother and I did follow all the rules and did follow the track of like a model minority Asian kid. And then so we went to college and
did you go to the same college or?
No, so my brother went to Harvard and I went to UPenn.
Oh yes, you're a Wharton girly.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Smart cookies.
And so the reason I said that is like, you know, we went there not because we're smart, but because we like had to study really so much.
Worked really hard, yeah.
And like my mother was focused on that goal of sending us there. So it's like, you know, like if you're laser focused on a goal, like she is the type of woman that makes it happen. So we went there. And then I think what happened to me was usually people at Wharton all have banking or consulting in mind.
Yeah.
So my sophomore year, I did investment banking internship. My brother, my sophomore year, asked me if I want to co-found Sundae School. And back then, it was not a cannabis brand at all. It was just a clothing brand. So I was like, okay, like whatever, I'll just help you start a t-shirt brand. So I was in Korea just looking in factories, just how to make a t-shirt. It was very simple. And then after growing my own company and after kind of testing the growth in the first year or so, I realized that I have no business structure. I don't know how to think like a businesswoman. And my personality back then used to be very unorganized. So my brother and I, as co-founders and as partners at the business, my brother would ask me, oh, like, can you do this? Can you do this? And my personality or my working style back then would have been like, I'll do it if I feel like it. You know, don't tell me what to do, first of all. So like that was the dynamic in the beginning when I was 21.
Are you the older sister?
Younger sister.
Yeah. I see.
So I was 20 when I co-founded it, and he was 24. And I was like, don't tell me what to do and I'll do it when I feel like it. And, you know, if you are launching your own business, I do think that staying super organized is hypercritical. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm sure you as starting this own podcast know, like everything needs to be labeled, you know, like scheduled and all that. And so I realized that I should probably get training from the corporate world like he did, because he actually was also in management consulting before co-founding Sundae School. So that's why I basically got into management consulting right after college.
So you felt like it was your professional real world experience that led you to have an aptitude for building businesses better than the education you received at a business school or did you learn a lot back at school then to help you with what you do now? Because it's all very theoretical, I feel like, for business school. I mean,
I don't know. I might want to send my kids later, so I'm not going to say anything bad.
I see.
No, but I personally don't believe that school really matters that much. I don't think I needed to have gone to the school I went to have founded a business.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of business building and entrepreneurial kind of mindset is much more about the hunger you have for meeting new people, for making new opportunities, and also executing. It's doing, it's a lot of, at the end of the day, if you don't do it, then there is no outcome. And I think that doing part actually it's not correlated to school background, educational background. Yeah, but basically I went into management consulting and then kind of followed that track that usual Wharton people do, which is to go into private equity or hedge fund or something that earns a lot of money.
And if you were to explain that to, for example, me, can you just like do a very quick crash course on what these sectors mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So management consulting is a broad sector, but basically a lot of the management consulting firms will have clients that are big corporations or companies that have in certain departments that need help. So for example, I was always focused on like marketing or sales, but there's also like pharmaceutical, process, process plant, like factory management, like it's a whole broad spectrum. But I was always focused on marketing, consulting. So then like clients would come to me being like, oh, how can we optimize our digital marketing presence? Like it's a very broad question. And then management consultants would basically do their research with the client's data with, you have presence here, but these are your gaps, and opportunities. And then in order to do this, we suggest that you take these steps. And then usually that's like the first part of the strategy part. And then the second part that management consulting firms usually try to sell is, now that we've presented it, we can help you also do it to get more money.
Essentially, you guys are like agencies for these clients.
Basically, yeah. Like business strategists, agencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So you were in that field for a couple years. How long?
I was in that field for 3 years.
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it because I learned about so many different departments and industries. So, I had a pharmaceutical client. I also had a crypto client. I had like a consumer packaged goods client. So then it's just like
There's flexibility in going to different sectors then. Okay, that's good. That's good. Where does Yuzu come into all of this?
Yuzu?
Like,
Oh my
how'd you get roped into the Yuzu verse?
Oh my gosh, it's actually a crazy story. I was at my previous private equity company and I learned so much. Honestly, I will say I probably learned more in that 1 year I was there than in the 3 years I was in management consulting.
So at the private equity company, okay.
But basically at the private equity company, I wasn't doing anything financy. I was actually basically doing the same thing that I did in management consulting, but advising the portfolios that we own. So the company I worked for had really cool investment portfolio. So like Joe and the Juice was one of them. Gymshark was one of them. So like more consumer facing ones. And then there was also a lot of like B2B like tech companies, like Apps Flyer. Long story short, I learned the most. My boss was genius and it was amazing. But I found that I was just learning so much and helping various companies, but not really like fulfilled at my job. I was creating an impact, helping these companies, but work was just work, and that's the mindset that I had to train myself. Like work is just work, and I was a workaholic, but at the end of the day, like it wasn't like a fun workaholic experience. It was like, oh, I need to do work, so I have to do it. And I was searching on LinkedIn actually, and I actually applied to like 100 jobs probably.
Yeah.
Because I was just
like only 3% of your applications that you throw out will get noticed by recruiters. Like that's the stat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I was just like, I know that this place is great and it pays me really well, but I also felt like I probably learned a lot of the things that I could have learned anyways, and then it was just kind of repetition. And so I was just applying to 100 different jobs, everything that pertained to the departments that I focused on, which is marketing, sales, and customer success. One of the jobs was Match Group's new dating app for the Asian community, and I basically was like, like why would they even notice me? Like, yeah, if I if Sundae School, if I were my brother who has been with Sundae School since 2017, that makes sense. But I was like, I started it, I help it, I'm still an advisor of it, but my background is much more like very corporate vibes, I would say, not like a fun like marketing personality kind of vibe. It's much more like, let's think about your marketing strategy, those kind of vibes. So I was very surprised when the recruiter reached out to me to just ask me like a couple of behavioral questions and things like that. I was really surprised, but after like 7-8 rounds, I actually, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I like had such a delayed response to that. Wow. So you were offered the position after 7 to 8 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. The best day of my life.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I left, and then I joined last May in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow, it's almost a year.
Yeah.
I restarted this podcast actually May of last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When was it before? When did you first start it?
I first started in May of 2021.
Oh.
And I brought it back May of last year because I was like, okay, API month, like I'll bring it back that month.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time you've been doing podcasts.
Yeah, I stopped it for a long time, but then I say my official date is May of last year because that's when I like rebranded it and actually took it seriously.
I love the branding.
Oh, thank you.
So
I'm just fun. I continue to experiment, so it's always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to go to like prepubescent Cindy.
Oh,
Prepubescent Cindy. So you were born in Seoul, but how long were you there before you came to the States? Did you come immediately?
Oh, yeah.
After?
So I was born and raised in Korea until elementary school.
Okay.
But I learned English first because my mom always thought that,
that's
English
the language
is the
of
future.
money.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
like the American dream. Like she really followed that American dream and she did make it come true, I feel like.
Did she have any ties to the States beforehand? Or?
None.
Ah.
To this date, like my dad speaks English, but my mom doesn't. They live in Korea, actually. They live back in Korea. If I speak in English with them, they hate it. They're like, please speak in Korean. So no, like I think she just wanted her kids to learn English well and be fluent at it. So my brother and I both actually learned English first when we were born. So we had like English nannies. So instead of like Korean nannies, we had English nannies. I had like an English tutor almost every day. I mean, she was a tiger mom since I was born. When I was in elementary school, my brother, long story short, he is kind of a genius. So when he was... Yeah, when he was in like 5th grade, he jumped grades to 8th grade.
What? Wait, so when did he go to college? What age was he?
He is 2 years younger than his peers because he actually repeated 1 grade because of more social adjustments. Yeah.
Wait, so he went to college at like 16 or 17?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Holy
yeah.
crap!
Yeah.
Oh
He's
my
definitely young
gosh.
for his age. Mm-hmm.
Wait, do you know where he attributes that from? Like from your dad's side, your mom's side?
My dad.
Your dad's side?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
My dad's very smart. Like he does like, do you know Olympiad? It's like one of those like advanced science, advanced math like contests.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Shu. Yeah, in Chinese.
Yeah.
Shu. Yeah, they do like these competitions. I don't know if they still do it, but I know that the White House, maybe this was during the Obama administration, but they used to host a lot of the Olympiad test competitions. And this is just like a really random non sequitur tangent. But every year, I remember there was this one year, I saw it as like a meme. Like the team that won first place was USA, and the second team that won was China. But then when President Obama was giving out the medals to the American team, every single person on the team was Asian.
Oh yeah,
so the Chinese team, they're like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, basically all of these things, like it's Team USA, but they're Asian American.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, me and my brother both did all of them.
Oh my gosh.
I was like top 50 in chemistry, like in US and stuff like that.
Oh, but I thought it was just math, but it's it's like
math,
all subjects.
chemistry, physics, biology, everything. But my dad basically like studied that himself and taught us. So he's like a genius. He's able to understand very complex topics and distill it into very simple
Yeah,
things.
and to be able to water it down and teach it to people is also such a skill.
Oh yeah, and like make acronyms so that you remember it easier and things like that.
Well, how about your mom?
My mom is more of a businesswoman.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, she told me that was like her criteria. Like, I need to marry someone smarter than me so that my kids are gonna be
Wait, that's exactly what my parents say too.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, you know what? Like, you're in LA. There's a lot of creative people here, but like, you gotta think about your future genetics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's like, in the end, it's gotta be like a doctor.
Oh my
someone
God.
really smart. And I was like, I kind of get you though.
Yeah.
Like, I want my children to be elite. So I get you. That's so funny.
Yeah.
What are your earliest memories of Seoul?
My earliest memories is when I'm like 3. Actually, I was a fat child. So my brother was born underweight, but I was overweight all the time.
Me too. I was born overweight too.
Oh really? Oh my gosh, yeah. And I was just like eating a lot too. I was like eating and sleeping. I was apparently the nicest baby ever. All I did was eat and sleep. I remember like eating rice, and you know how like it was white rice and the bowl was white, and I would just keep on scraping. It would keep on coming out. I thought I was done, but I would be like, wait, this is magic. Like, that is actually one of my earliest memories, and I was like, wow, like that just proves that I just loved eating when I was young, that I was so amused by that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, so when did you start learning Korean then?
Pretty much the same time.
Oh,
because
yeah. Okay.
my parents only spoke in Korean anyways, but they just wanted to make sure that we also learn English at the same time.
That's the thing. I grew up learning both Mandarin and English simultaneously.
Duolingo.
Yeah, and I Duolingo my Spanish right now.
Oh, wow.
My streak is a 962.
Wow.
So I'm hosting a Duolingo 1,000-day party in April. Let me know if you want the invite. To people. Anyway, I do agree with you. It's that a lot of like the TCK, third culture kids, international kids, they learn 2 languages simultaneously, and I remember I was at a Thanksgiving dinner last year, and people were like, well, then like, why is your English so good? Like,
oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, I mean, and you know, an American asking me, we're also American, but like but we're third culture kids, so it's like a different dynamic. But I was just like, I just learned Mandarin and English simultaneously growing up, and then people at the table are like, wow. Like, what is that?
Oh my
What is it like to learn a second language?
I know. I just say, yeah.
Our parents were onto something. Yeah.
I think definitely, like, when I have kids, I definitely want to start them with at least 2 languages.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to learn language when you're younger.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want them to learn Korean, English, Chinese, and Spanish.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
So where did you and your family move to the States? So I guess you and your brother both moved together at the same time?
So my brother went to boarding school when he was in 5th grade as an 8th grader.
Dang. In the States?
Yeah, in the States, in Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, he was just placed there because, the school system was like, oh, this guy is too smart, let's just put him there. And then obviously you're a 5th grader hanging out with 8th graders. It's like, it's kind of socially
Was he
weird.
like bullied?
I feel like the macho men always kind of tried to bully him, but the girls always loved him. Because he's just like a bubbly, fun guy.
Yeah.
And probably cute, so he got all the attention. At that time when he was in boarding school, my parents followed him. So even though he went to boarding school, my parents were worried. So we stayed in 30 minutes away.
To Virginia.
Yeah, so we were in Richmond.
Okay.
So I was there. So I just went to elementary school, public school there from 2nd grade to 4th grade or something like that. And then basically my brother decided to move schools to non-boarding school. So then I was just basically following my brother in his education journey until he went to high school, because he also went to high school boarding school. And
so you all went to different schools growing up, essentially.
Yeah, we never overlapped.
That is so interesting, because when my sister's 2 years older than me, so I would always see her in school. So I don't know what it's like to have a sibling where you're literally placed in different schools. So I guess the only time you see each other is at home.
I mean, I wasn't that close with my brother, honestly, until college. Like, we always cared for each other and, you know, all that, but we were always studying. To be honest.
We spent more time with our books
than
with my brother.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was secretly watching K-drama all the time. And so was he, apparently. Because my mom is like a tiger mom, but she's not like detailed enough to actually, you know what you have behind your book. You know, so I feel like when I have a kid, I will know all the sly tactics that I did, but she's like not like that. So we definitely still enjoyed our freedom, like in our secret ways. But no, my brother and I didn't really overlap or spend a lot of time when we were young. But I mean, I was always, I guess, not compared, but he was an overachiever. Like he went to one of the top boarding schools for high school. He went to Harvard, like, you know, one of the top colleges in the world. So it wasn't pressure, but it definitely was like, you know,
put a little bit of fire under your ass for sure.
Yeah, but I'm like not a competitive person, but you know, like my mom was trying to get me in the same path all the time, but we never overlapped.
So it was all like in the Richmond, Virginia area most of your adolescent life then?
Oh, no. So I was only in Richmond for about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
And then went back and forth to Korea, actually, like during my adolescent years before middle school. So in elementary school, like first grade, I was in Korea. Second to fourth grade, I was in Richmond. Fifth grade, I was in Korea. And then like it was like a lot of back and forths. And then seventh and eighth grade, I was in middle school in New Jersey because it's easier to get into boarding school from America versus Korea. So my mom and dad moved to New Jersey so that I have a better chance of getting in.
Oh my gosh. Wow. They're so strategic.
They are very strategic. Yeah.
Oh, so they moved for you and your brother's chances essentially, or was it for like your dad's work? Because I moved because of my dad's work, but they moved because of your guys' future education.
They literally like quit their job.
Because your dad was like, you know, I'm smart. I'm going to get another job.
Yeah, he was like, they were basically like, my dad, I mean, he's still a doctor, and he's a doctor in Korea now, but he used to have a practice and things like that. But they basically like were like, okay, for like a decade or so, we need to focus on them because like that era is never going to come back. And I mean, I think they did have, you know, the initial luxury of making that decision too at that point, but they were hustlers too, you know, like during that time they found ways to like, you know, make money and things like that too.
Wow. That's just like a good reminder. Money you can always earn more of, but like time you can never earn back. So they spent a lot of that time focusing on you and your brother. Dude, that's crazy. I mean, my parents were super involved. I will give them credit for that. It's like they were also very, very involved, and my parents came to every single parent-teacher conference. Like they came every single year, never missed a single one. So, and it's like I remember my dad, he's a really good illustrator actually. I think I get some of my creative juices from him. He works in like tech consulting, but he in third grade, at the school I went to school in Shanghai. We had this thing called International Day where every single homeroom they were assigned a country, and in third grade my class was assigned Israel, and then my dad just volunteered to draw these like, essentially it's like it felt like a diorama, but these two very huge wall-sized drawings of like a ram, a goat, or a sheep, and he just sketched it out by himself. And then after work, when he'd come back, he would just be drawing on the floor of our living room, and then he would just complete it and then send it. And then my entire class for homeroom, we were so proud of it, and like we get to visit the different homerooms, and I'd be like, yeah, my dad drew these animals. And every single year I feel like that same homeroom, they kept getting Israel as their country. So like the teacher just kept reusing the same posters, large posters that my dad drew. And then my mom, in terms of like her involvement, was very like PTA mom, I guess. So whenever we had potlucks for homeroom to celebrate like a holiday or something, we have like a little Excel spreadsheet of what people bring, and then there are these like kids who be like, I'll bring the forks and the napkins. I'm like, we know who you guys are. You're just going to bring the forks and the napkins. But every single time I wrote down on the spreadsheet, I was like, my mom is going to make lasagna, because she made really good lasagna. So every single year she'd come and make lasagna, and it was like such a it was such a slay. Like everyone was like, we love your mom's lasagna. So yeah, looking back, I'm really glad that my parents really held on to us tightly, because like there's a phrase where people are like, the tighter their grip is on their kids in the future, the further the kids are going to stay away from you. Yeah, so it's like, because you were too involved in my childhood, it's like when I grow up and go to college, I'm like, goodbye.
I feel like that could be true if there's a lack of communication, and just treating your kid like an actual human being versus like a robot that's supposed to listen to you. Yeah. Because, I mean, I talk to my mom every day. She's like my best friend.
Yeah. That's the thing I do with my family. It's like we always make sure to schedule a time every Saturday. Yeah, my mom calls me a lot now, and I always happily pick up her call, because she's like, always get this stock right now. So
she's gonna be listening.
She's my broker essentially. So yeah, with this whole, I want to focus our conversation on Yuzu, because that is why I reached out.
Yeah.
So there's a quote on Yuzu's press release. So Yuzu says that they're, quote, a new kind of social playground that makes it easy for the Asian community to find friends, make matches, and create community. Okay, so if I were to play devil's advocate, I'm like, okay, new dating app. Well, there are a lot of dating apps available though. And I mean, there are some apps that are already centered towards the Asian community. There's one called like East Meets West or something. I think that's what it's called.
East Meets East.
East Meets East. Okay, East Meets East.
They're
East
like Emi Hive or something.
Oh, okay. So such as that app. What's the edge of this app? Why should I try it for myself? Should I try out this app if there are perhaps other reputable dating apps? Maybe they're not Asian centered, but I could just tailor my preferences in the dating preferences.
Yeah. I think that Yuzu is not meant to replace the larger dating apps that have, that target the general population. So, like Hinge or Tinder, you can set your preferences. I mean, I still use Hinge. You can set your preferences to be like, East Asian or Asian only. I don't know if they have East, South, Southeast, like those kind of distinguishes, but you can do that. But so Yuzu is not meant to replace that, but it's meant to be like a secondary, like supplementary app, I feel like. I mean, or if you want, you can just use Yuzu too. So that's like the first thing I'll say. And how Yuzu is differentiated versus the already existing apps that focus on the Asian community is that all the apps currently out there are just dating apps. So, you go in with the intent of finding romance. But Yuzu kind of takes that pressure away also, because there's a social only mode. So, if you don't feel like connecting with people romantically, you can turn off your dating mode preference and only connect with people socially. So then it kind of sends a signal, like even if you and your potential romantic partner match on social, the beginning, it's going to be a more natural conversation, like not a lot of pressure. So I feel like Yuzu's differentiator is that there is both modes of social meetups, social matching, as well as dating matching. So that's one thing. I think another thing is we have a communities feature where you can chat. So we have different chat spaces, like the rave chat space, anime. We have a foodies chat space where it's literally just threads of Asian food on top of each other, and everyone's just sharing what they eat, what they cook, getting inspo. We also have like actually a pet lovers chat space where it's everyone's like dogs. And a lot of Asian people are like, here's my white crusty dog. It's just like sharing. It's kind of like, I don't want to say all in one place, because there are still improvements that Yuzu can have to actually be all in one place. But it's really like, we hope to be that social playground where it's not just for dating, but you can also meet friends, or it doesn't have to be a one-to-one connection. It can be a one-to-many in the community's chat space.
Yeah. It sets the intention clear if you have social only or dating only, or even both. Because I think a lot of times with a lot of other dating apps, it's like people meet, but then in the end, people are kind of sending mixed signals towards each other. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to date, and the other person's like, well, I'm ready to meet someone. And then it's just, it's to have something shown, I guess, in black and white, like I'm here to make friends or I'm here to find someone, will set like a good intention going into a meeting, whether it's like romantic or friendship wise.
Yeah, and if you do have dating mode on also, so there's two modes currently, which is social only or social plus dating. But I do get a lot of matches where I can't say the word swipe actually.
Okay, so what's like the
Tinder trademarked
term?
it.
Oh, really? It's trademarked?
Yeah. And even though Tinder is like part of like our portfolio,
That's true.
Like the other apps, if they start using it, then the non-portfolio apps can start using it too. So we also try to keep the rules and not use things that. Like
I see. So, like, I guess if you match with someone.
So we say wave.
Wave.
Wave or
peace
match.
sign.
Exactly. Oh, that's good. Yeah. We wave or we match. But, like, if I waved at a guy, for example, socially, but the guy waved at me romantically because I had dating mode on, like activated, then I actually get a mixed intent match on Yuzu.
A mixed
And
intent.
sometimes it's awkward because it's like, I know you are romantically interested in me, but I'm not. So then it's like, yeah, sometimes when I don't feel like talking to someone romantically, but that person is clearly flirting with me or something, I just let them know, just to set it clear. So we have like social only matches or dating only matches or mixed intent matches on Yuzu.
Oh, interesting. So with the community pages, is that what it's called?
Spaces,
the community spaces. Do you know the specific number off the top of your, like how many spaces there are? And I'm assuming it's going to be continually growing.
Oh yeah. Currently I think we have around like 16.
Okay.
A lot of people just ask for new ones. Like I get Instagram DMs being like, when will the gaming one come up? Things like that.
Okay.
We also have like localized group chats. So we have LA
like by
only.
city. Oh, interesting.
So if you're on Yuzu, you probably only see LA. No, you will see a lot of other chats, but you'll be able to join the LA group chat. So there's New York, LA.
So it's kind of like Slack being put in this dating app. Honestly.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Dating plus social app.
Yeah, dating plus social app. And then we also have age gated group chats. So yeah, unfortunately, like I'm actually Gen Z / millennial, but I only see the millennial group chat. I mean, I have access to all of them as like admin, but like on my app, I only have millennial group chat because I'm 27, and so I'm 1996, and that's actually like the border. But I guess like Yuzu determines me as a millennial. But I mean, like that's also a fun way for like because when I look at the Gen Z group chat, like. They're so proud of just having their own space, and they're like, we rock, things like that. And then the millennials are like, oh, like thank God a space of millennials. Like, so it's just providing everyone like
a bit of belonging,
maybe a space that they want, or like we are testing right now, like maybe like LA foodies chat, so that like people in LA who like foodies can connect with each other to be like, oh, like what Korean restaurant should I go to, versus like a US level group chat where it's like all over the world, and it's creating more specific experiences so that people might find more belonging. There's a lot of different use cases that the community chat spaces has. We're still exploring, and the match group team and like the app teams or the product development teams are definitely taking into account the large demand that we got from this feature and trying to really enhance it so that the user actually gets the most out of it, the social experience.
So when it officially launched in January of this year, you said that there was a high demand. I learned that there was like a wait list that you did.
Yeah.
So how much hype did it get prior to the launch? And when it launched, how many people downloaded the app essentially?
Yeah. So I can't expose like real numbers. Oh no, I will expose like ballpark numbers. I can expose downloads. Basically, when we launched the waitlist campaign late November, so the waitlist was on for 1.5 months, and the goal was basically just to spread awareness that there is going to be this kind of a social and dating app, like who's in. And we just kind of had an intake of like email addresses, name, phone number, and things like that. We had over 10,000 people sign up for the waitlist in 1.5 months. And when Yuzu launched, I think the first 3 hours I saw like already like few thousand people were downloading the community chat space in the first like day of launching was crazy. Like, I think it's the craziest it's ever been. It was almost like, think of like a Discord channel. Like everyone was just like typing. Everyone was typing. I'm really happy to see that Yuzu did connect these Asian communities together, like made new Asian friends for the community. But it definitely has a life of its own outside of the app as well.
Yeah, because many people, they go on a dating app and it's just like you're on the swipe page and that's essentially it. But it's opened up like a myriad of possibilities of what like a social app can look like. I would love to know, what was your dating experience like prior or like in the past before Yuzu? Did you take any of those experiences into the branding of the app, into the building of the app?
Yeah.
If so.
Yeah, so I only dated Asians in the past. I think I went on one date with a non-Asian person and it was fun, but I just was not attracted.
Yeah.
I think I'm just attracted to Asian people, and I don't know, I just feel comfortable just knowing that they're Asian.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, even your friend, I saw him and he's Asian, I instantly feel comfortable, you know? Like, there's something shared. So obviously, like, with Yuzu, I was just super excited because when I'm on the dating apps, when I was on the dating apps, like, I guess I'm on it now too, but I do have those filters, like, you know, preferences, like Asian. And then, like, even on my Hinge prompt, I write, like, looking for people who share my culture with a Korean flag, because for dating, I do want to meet like a Korean person. Yeah, just because my parents don't speak English that well. Yeah, and they live in Korea.
That's the thing. I think about my parents too. It's like, it would just be so much easier if the person I'm with just knows how to speak Mandarin.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I actually dated Chinese guys before and, you know, really liked them, but it never worked out because like when it started getting serious, they started thinking about how I would get along with their family who only speaks Mandarin and stuff. So I also was like kind of hurt from those experiences, which is why I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna go with my culture too.
Yeah. And it just makes sense.
Yeah. But obviously for friendships it's different.
Yeah.
Like Yuzu does definitely have a lot of the elements that I wanted in like general population dating apps. For example, one of the things I love about Yuzu is you can show where your roots are from. So you can probably, like, you said you're from Taiwan or Taiwan. Yeah. So you can probably put like, are you also from Shanghai, so like China, or
to water it down to like an American, I was like, oh, I'll say like I'm Taiwanese American, but for the easy short answer. But I feel like my roots, I'd put like Taiwanese, Chinese.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy to
so
be
you
both.
can put like Taiwan, China, or something like that. So right now you can only select up to 2. We did get feedback that, you know, people sometimes are more, obviously.
That's true.
So we are, you know, looking at that because we do talk to our users a lot to improve the product. Like I put South Korea and United States because I identify as Korean American. So then when I'm on the apps, it's so interesting because like when I'm on Hinge, when I'm on the other dating apps, I'm always like wondering, ooh, like I wonder if he's like, you know, Vietnamese or like Chinese or whatever.
Yeah, like what kind of a Vietnamese is he, you know?
Yeah, but then it just shows like, you know, right there if the user chooses, which I love. That was an element that I always wanted, like to know what country their roots are actually are, like, you know, because then like, well, socially I just like I don't have as many like, you know, guardrails or anything, but for dating, like I would try to find people that also have South Korea in the dating, and you can put that as a preference on Yuzu as well. Like you can put countries as a preference. So if you are like, I only know I'm gonna date Taiwanese people, then you only select Taiwan, and Yuzu will probably show you like Taiwan people first, like until like they run out of people, and then they'll show you like other roots people. So I love that kind of like getting more specific into the actual Asian roots versus like just saying like you prefer Asians. So that specificity. And then also like prompts are a huge thing on dating apps, and I wanted Yuzu to have more specific Asian prompts.
Yeah,
so
for example.
Like, favorite like Asian owned brand, favorite Asian owned soju brand, or like best place for KBBQ, best place for hot pot, best place for like pho, you know, like best place for sushi. So like actually making it specific to the Asian community. And it like, I mean, I love it when I'm on Yuzu and people actually answer those questions really well.
And there's just like they have a bit more of a levity to it. It's more lighthearted because I mean, I not on dating apps myself, but I do know, like, for example, there are certain prompts that you see on dating apps where it's like, like, why does this have to be so deep? And when it's just kind of a first look at your profile.
Like, don't date me if, like, ... you know? Like,
yeah.
I definitely try to keep it more celebratory and lighthearted. But I mean, I did take some inspiration from Hinge.
They do have the prompts,
they have really good prompts.
I will say,
From my past dating life, those two were kind of like what I brought in, like, that was specific from my past dating life to Yuzu.
Yeah, and what you wanted to see more, I guess.
What I wanted to see more.
A user.
I think the social part, at first when they told me, like, oh, maybe we should have both social and dating, I was at first kind of like, oh, I don't know about that idea, you know, like, if I had a boyfriend and that boyfriend's on Yuzu, I would be kind of like sus, like, why are you on Yuzu? But then the Gen Z people, like, they are all about meeting people on the apps, like, socially as well. Like, there's a lot of social only apps these days that are popping off just to make friendships. So then it's just like maybe I am a little bit more millennial. I feel like I've become more Gen Z through Yuzu, but back then, like, when I first joined on May, like, I was first, like, more conservative about it. Like, you know, dating apps are just dating apps. Keep it a dating app, you know? I feel like whenever new ideas come up, people have, like, allergic reactions to it in the beginning. And me, like, I definitely had that, but then as we launched, like, the Gen Z, like, because Yuzu is very Gen Z, the user base is primarily like 18 to 28, I feel like. And they love the social mode.
So,
I
mean, you can choose if you want social or social plus dating. So it's like you're able to make that intention or restriction. So if there was, like, a boyfriend, for example, who just wanted to make friends, he could just make the app just social only. So his girlfriend's like, okay.
And I see a lot of that. Or they have picture with their girlfriend. And then they write it in their thing being like, just looking for friends, you know, with my girlfriend or something like that. So
okay, so give me your honest opinion. So you're currently still on your dating journey. Do you think you're gonna find someone on Yuzu?
I'm hopeful. I mean, it does help that I am given the opportunity to make an impact for user acquisition for Yuzu. So it makes me want to try harder, you know, like, let me get the men that I want to date. Like,
exactly.
So, I mean, I'm hopeful, but I also think that, yes, Yuzu is a social and dating app, but I made a lot of friends through Yuzu events as well, you know, like, it also fosters that, like, natural connection when we have these kind of community events in different places. So being on Yuzu is not just a digital association, but it's also like a social association of, like,
kind of like a brotherhood, a sisterhood.
Like, oh, you're on Yuzu too.
The question I get with a lot of dating apps, because a lot of them, I mean, all of them are run by algorithms, I get really curious about, because when people are on these apps and they're matching here and there, it's like, how algorithmically sound is Yuzu? Because people are on the apps and they're like, if I want to find someone, I hope I get to do it in the shortest amount of time. Like, that's everyone's goal. I don't know if you know the answer to this in terms of, like, I feel like this might go towards the software team, the product team, but are there any past cases where people have already matched with people, romantic partners, and it was done in an effective way? I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. It's like, is this app going to be an effective use of my time?
That's a good question. So I don't really know what goes into the algorithm. I feel like they probably try to keep it a secret.
I feel like they might just reuse the same algorithm as, for example, as Hinge, because I know that Hinge's algorithm, I learned from a interview of the CEO. He was, like, laying out how the algorithm works, and I was like, okay, that's really algorithmically sound. So I'm just like, okay, so what about Yuzu's, you know?
I think the algorithm is probably going to be similar, but I don't think it's exactly the same, because our product team doesn't really, like, work that closely with Hinge's product team.
So everyone kind of has their own separate product teams. Oh, okay.
Hinge has their own product team. Tinder has their own product team. And I feel like it's a good way to also keep on innovating versus just copying each other.
Exactly.
We are considered a more innovative like, group within Match Group, I feel like. Whereas, like, Hinge and Tinder, they do the tried and tested, you know, it works, so they do it. I mean, I've definitely heard of success stories. Like, I think 2 weeks in, there was a Yuzu couple, and It was really cute. I mean, I'm part of like these Yuzu sub communities, and they collaged like they've never met actually, because when Yuzu first launched, you know, like yes, like, you know, launching with 10,000 people on the wait list seems like a lot, but it's not that much, you know. These are people in like LA, Dallas, New York. So then it was like people all over the US were actually matching with it. Asians all over the US were seeing who was there. So then this couple was actually like West Coast and East Coast couple.
Oh, I see.
And they collaged like a picture of them kissing on Zoom and things like that. So it was really cute.
That worked.
I mean, like, whatever works for you, you know. I feel like now Yuzu has a lot more user base, actually. So I was just in Dallas, and I, like, matched with, like, 40 different people on Yuzu.
Cute.
Yeah. I mean, LA is the biggest audience, actually, for Yuzu. People who come to Yuzu, like, they are on it because they are seeking connections over culture and, like, because we really try to make it clear that it's designed for the Asian community, and like our mission is to embrace all sides of being Asian and for you to be unapologetically Asian. You know, whether it's whatever your interests are, whatever your hobbies are, there's going to be a community out there for each and every one of you, centered around Asian culture. That like mindset in itself makes it efficient for like-minded people to also connect with each other, because they're both about the culture.
Yeah. I do like the smart idea of combining a dating and a social app into one, because for me personally, when I hear the word dating app, I just get so intimidated. I'm like, oh gosh. And I feel like there's just so much room of ranking and comparison. And I feel like I don't go on them because there's a lot of fear of how I'm perceived on a dating app when there's so many, essentially your competitors are on the same app. And I guess with Yuzu, yes, it is a dating app too. But like I'm feeling in my perspective, like I would more likely be on an app where you can also make friendly connections instead of being there romantically, because like everyone wants to get cuffed, you know, especially in like the ages 18 to 28. Everyone's like, I want to be with someone right now. Whereas if you add a social app, I just feel like it kind of takes a bit of the pressure, exactly, the pressure off of joining an app.
One of like the lines that we have is like, start as friends and see where it goes.
Exactly.
You know?
That's a reel that I saw. There's this guy who goes around New York City. He's like, excuse me, can you tell me the story of how you met? And there was this older couple where when they were asked by the interviewer, what's like a piece of advice that you would give to a couple? And they were like, be really good friends at first. And I was like, I totally get you, because I mean, love can be so fleeting, but like sometimes you look around and your friendships are relationships that have been going on for a really long time. So I feel like, yes, start as friends and then maybe see where it goes.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think that when you're friends first, especially for, you know, a long period of time or whatever, you feel less pressure to be a certain way.
Yeah, to like court each
act
other.
A certain way. Yeah, so then you actually just end up being more genuine, more authentic. And then because later on, like if things go well and you marry, that's what's gonna go back to, you know. You're not gonna like be always in the courting mode or always like trying to be somebody for someone. So I do see that angle of how starting as friends first does also work out for the long run. I have never been friends with anyone first before dating, but I do want to try it out.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good piece of advice, or a good little like tidbit of wisdom.
Yeah.
It's been a very fresh journey for both the company and for you yourself at the company. I would love to know, I guess, what's one proud moment you had with Yuzu, and in the future going forth, what's something that you want to really work on in terms of being the head of brand there?
I was just so proud when Yuzu had a world of its own outside of Yuzu. There's like monthly SoCal meetups on Yuzu.
Wow.
Yeah, and like they organize it themselves. Like it definitely makes me the most proud. And honestly, like, you know, I love it when influencers, celebrities, or creators like, you know, shout out Yuzu or whatever, or like want to work with us. That's great too from a partnership perspective. But I feel the most happy when I get tagged in pics where there's like, thanks to join, like the Instagram is join Yuzu. Thanks to Yuzu, like I met like, you know, my lifelong friends, like things like that. Like those true testimonials are what makes me really happy. And I've seen like more than a dozen so far. And I always like story them. It's just so cute, you know, they have like 40 person, like there's like a Yuzu birthday happening, Yuzu group birthday happening beginning of April, where it's like 80 people who connected over Yuzu are gonna,
and all have April birthdays? Or?
no, like for 2 people on Yuzu, but it's the Yuzu community.
Okay.
And I think aspirations and what I really want to work on is I want to get more people on it. I think Yuzu does have, it's growing really fast. I will say it's been growing double digits since we've launched, and we've only launched for like 2 months or so, but we have around like more than 35,000 downloads so far.
Wow.
I mean, the more people on it, the more fun it'll be, you know. So my goal is just how can we become more relevant, and from a brand marketing perspective, that's going to be like the always on like influencer and creator partnerships, but also like actual meaningful campaigns, that celebrate the Asian culture. So definitely like for API month, I'm planning a lot of things that are more meaningful than just, I don't want to say more because it's comparative, but that are centered around true celebration of Asian culture than like, maybe a digital ad that we work on with an influencer.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, May is coming very soon.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen the next few months. Actually, at the end of this, I think I'm ready to like maybe download it and see how I feel. And actually, like, can you stand next to me and kind of coach me? Because guys, I've never downloaded an app like this in my entire life.
You've never been on a dating app?
No. If you would like to see me download the Yuzu app, you can head to Happy Hour Pod on Instagram and see how I do it, because this is actually really, I'm curious and I need to know what's going on in there.
Oh, let's get some good pics from tonight.
Oh, okay.
We got a good photographer.
Oh God. I was like, I don't have any recent photos of myself.
Oh my, I mean, I definitely want to do like a Yuzu profile tutorial or something, because if you have like 5 photos to select, don't do it from the same day, like I see some profiles where it's like selfie from one space on this angle, this angle, this angle, and I'm like, people want to see diversity.
Yeah, we need to help the branding of like these people as well. So okay, well, Cindy, thank you so much for chatting with me on Happy Hour. I'm so looking forward to our little event tonight.
Yes.
Truly the best of luck to you and the Yuzu team. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next.
Thank you. Thanks for the pistachio matcha latte.
I know, it's so delicious.